Welcome to the Real Estate Deep Dive with Paul D. Garrison from JP and Associate Realtors. Today we're going to cover a topic that a lot of people are wondering about, so much so that there's a recent article in the New York Times, will the real estate ever be normal again? Like this article, we're starting to see news articles hinting at the market cooling or starting to return to normal. Well, I can tell you that this market is anything but normal. If you've been following the Real Estate Deep Dive, you know that inventory, or lack thereof, is one of the key factors that has caused such an abnormal real estate market, and is likely why we may see a winter like we've never seen before. So the question is, when do the most listings come on the market? Well, in a normal year, the answer would be the spring selling season, April, May, June. But in this market, there are signs that it will be this winter, and here's why. Let's start with this quote from the VP of Demographics and Behavioral Insights at the National Association of Realtors. Home sellers have historically moved when something in their life changed: a new baby, a marriage, divorce, or a new job. The pandemic has impacted everyone. For many, this has become the impetus to sell and make a housing trade. In the same report, it also says the pandemic likely spurred occupants to shorten their home stay, as tenure in the home decreased to 8 years from 10 years. According to this report, this is the largest single year change in home tenure since NAR began collecting such data. So with that in mind, let's take a look at this chart. You can see that from 1985 to 2008, the average tenure that someone stayed in a home was 6 years. So then post-2008, the last housing crisis, the tenure in homes started to climb. And you can actually see it goes 7, 8, 9, 10, and it's been kind of averaging out over those years to be about 9.2 years in a home, with the last 2 years being an average of 10 years of tenure in the home. Now we look at the numbers for 2021, and it actually dropped significantly to an average of 8 years in the home. Now, I'm not saying that 1 year makes a trend, but I am saying that there are a lot of people over the last 10 or so years that have been making the decision to not move and sell their homes that are now thinking differently. There were a lot of reasons post-housing crisis why they may not have been able to sell their homes. They may not have had the equity or the means to sell their homes, but they do now, thanks to the home price appreciation we've seen over the last few years. So do you know what your home would likely sell for in this market? You want to find out? Give me a call and I'll work up a competitive market analysis for you. So this chart helps to show you the pent-up seller demand that's been in the market since the last housing crisis, and how we're just starting to see that impacting the market today. Which leads me to this next quote from the manager of economic research for Realtor.com, George Ratui. The pandemic has delayed plans for many Americans, and homeowners looking to move on to the next stage of life are no exception. Recent survey data suggests the majority of prospective sellers are actively preparing to enter the market this winter. So in a normal market, usually sellers will hold off until the spring selling season to list, because that's when buyer demand is the highest. But because we've had such an abnormal market year and buyer demand is actually still quite high, many prospective sellers are starting to look at actually listing this winter. So in the survey Realtor.com performed, 65% have either just listed their home or plan to list their home this winter. 93% have already taken steps towards listing their home, and 35% have researched the value of their home and others in the neighborhood, as well as started to make repairs and decluttering. Also in the same report, it listed the top reasons that they're selling their homes. 33% have realized that they want different features in their homes, that they're spending more time at home because of the pandemic. 37% say that their home no longer meets their family's needs, while 32% want to move closer to family and friends, and 23% are actually looking for a home office. So we can actually see how the pandemic has really affected why people are looking to sell their homes today. Also, something that's not brought up in this survey, but is also probably a major factor in this, is the record equity that homeowners have built up in their homes at this time. So with this in mind, what is happening with active listings across the nation? Let's take a look at this chart to give some historical perspective, along with taking a look at what's currently happening. Historically, if we look at 2017, 2018, 2019, we can see that they all follow kind of the normal trend of peaking in the spring, summer selling season and then dropping off in the late fall, winter seasons. Then you see in 2020, we never really got out of the gate, so to speak. Active listings dropped as we started to see the bounce back after the economy shut down from the pandemic. They dropped pretty steadily starting in May of 2020 and continue that trend into the first quarter of 2021. We do see a bit of recovery or more of a normal increase in the number of active listings that follows the selling season trend we see in 2017 through 2019, albeit at a much lower level. The big question becomes, what are they going to do for the rest of the year and the beginning of next? While no one has a crystal ball, given the reasons we just discussed, I think we'll see them somewhere between flattening out or continuing to climb for the rest of this year and into the beginning of next. We really need to see them return back to the levels we were seeing in 2017 through 2019 for the market to return to what most people would consider normal. Unfortunately, there just aren't many markets in the U.S. right now that have enough active listings to give buyers more options and change from the auction type of scenarios that we've been seeing over the last year. So on a positive note, Daniel Hill at Realtor.com stated, listings rose for the second week in a row, with our recent survey data suggesting that a growing share of homeowners are potential sellers eager to find new homes. There is a reason to believe that this may be the start of a welcome trend, especially as we move into the colder months. And the week earlier, she had noted that this was the first uptick in 8 weeks that they'd seen in new listings, and that it's currently higher than what we saw a year ago. So very positive that we're seeing that trend continue on into the second week. Hopefully we'll continue to see it increasing over the next couple of weeks as well. Many of the metrics and numbers in this presentation are based off of the national real estate market. However, local areas can vary. Please give me a call and we can discuss your situation. Have questions about your specific needs or location? Please contact me at 214-683-8188 or paul@pauldgarrison.com. Want more information about the housing market and related issues? Be sure and check out my blog at www.pauldgarrison.com. Thank you for your time. Please take a moment to visit our website at www.pauldgarrison.com.